remembering this and then meeting somebody and literally having a conversation with them about it who was directly impacted, it is so intense. Hey, welcome to Powerful Shares. I'm here to connect. I'm Melissa, and here we discuss powerful stories, hoping to connect with different viewers out there because we are not alone in our struggles, our joys, anything really in life. And today, my guest is Kelly, and she is going to bring us back to 2001 and share a family story that is quite a tragedy that we all know as 9/11. Kelly, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. This is like so brave having you here talking to me, and honestly, I'm honored.
Yeah, thank you for having me, of course. Just down to talk to you.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, so let's hear it. Like, how would you tell your story?
My father was a fireman on 9/11, and that shaped my life tremendously. I'm from Long Island.
Yep.
And I grew up in a small town on Long Island. I have two brothers. I have an older brother who's 28, and my younger brother is 23. So in 2001, I was 4 years old. My older brother was 6, and my younger brother was 6 months old.
Okay.
So,
jeez.
Yeah. Just my whole family living, my mom, my dad, two brothers living in a house on Long Island. We lived down the block from our grandparents, so that was really nice. We would, walk down the hill to my grandma and grandpa's house and spend a lot of time with them. So my dad was really close with his parents, and we were there all the time. He would watch football games with my grandpa on Sundays. We would have dinner with them all the time. We're really, really close.
And so you at the time were 4. Mm-hmm. This was a time where you somewhat understood, right?
Yeah, it's hard because obviously I don't remember a lot, but definitely I was emotionally affected at the time with whether or not I know what I said to my mom and whatnot, but I kind of had an idea of what was going on. So I guess to fast forward, so my younger brother's christening, it was Sunday.
Yep.
The Sunday before. And my whole family just, celebrated his christening and everything, and they had a party and whatnot. And my mom and my dad were a little short on money at that time. They were struggling a little bit, having 3 kids on Long Island, kind of expensive.
Oh yeah, totally.
So my dad wanted to get a suit. And so, you dress nice, and he needed to get one. And my mom told me that it was a little like, oh, well, we have to get a suit for this. Like, money's tight kind of thing. But my dad was like, no, I want to get a suit for it. And so everyone's dressed really nice. And then after, they had a party at my house, and really, I heard it was a really nice party. Everyone had a really great time celebrating my brother. And then the next day was a Monday, and my dad did 24-hour tours. So you go in for 24 hours at a time. And so on that Monday, my mom and my dad cleaned up after the party and whatnot, cleaned up from the party before, and then he went into work Monday at around, say, 3.
Okay, 3 in the afternoon.
3 in the afternoon on Monday. So the christening was on September 9th. My dad went into work on Monday the 10th, or in the afternoon.
3 p.m.
Say around 3.
Yep.
To go into the city, because it takes a little while to get to. So he worked in Brooklyn, so he was in Squad 1. which is a squad 1 is like a special operations squad, so they go in for really critical situations. So they
firefighting.
Yeah, so he was the first call, let's say, for firefighters, his squad, because that's what they did. That's what they specialized in.
Damn.
And
hang on one second. Just within that, damn.
Yeah.
That is so brave.
Yeah. So I guess it was a little bit of an honor to be in Squad 1 because it was it's a pretty good squad to be in, pretty prestigious, I guess you would say.
It sort of sounds like the Navy SEAls in a sense of the
for the firefighters.
For the fighter, yeah.
Yeah. Monday he went into work for his 24-hour tour, and that was the last time my mom and everybody saw him. So my grandparents, everybody, say my grandparents, my aunt, my uncles, everybody, last time they saw him was on Sunday, and the last time my mom saw him was on Monday. Yeah, and then
holy crap.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you remember? It's like you're 4 years old. It's like you're saying goodbye to your dad because he's going to work.
Yeah.
Thinking he's going to come back. And it's like you're young. So it's like you wouldn't necessarily register the memory of saying bye. But do you remember that?
No.
So hard, right?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Because I probably went to bed and then the night before and then in the morning went to preschool.
Right.
So my mom, probably dropped us off at preschool, or maybe my mom and dad did, or maybe my dad did. I'm not sure. So me and my brother were both in preschool at that time.
The younger one. No, the 6-year-old.
Yeah, so we were both in preschool. And so another thing is that he was supposed to work that Sunday, but he switched his tour with his partner because of the christening. So, so he went in that Tuesday.
So he would have worked because you said
on Sunday,
Monday.
Yeah, but he didn't because
the christening.
Yeah,
rather than Monday, Tuesday. Wow.
Yeah, and so it's Tuesday now.
Okay.
He goes in. My mom, we were already in preschool on Tuesday. And my mom said she was shopping and she was at some store and people were talking about it and whatnot. And she didn't think anything of it, what's going on. She wasn't sure, but then she kept hearing things about it. But in her head, my dad's fire station was in Brooklyn.
Yep.
So she was thinking, oh, he's in Brooklyn, though. He's not in Manhattan.
Right. Okay.
So,
So surely he's not there.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm getting a release.
But then she kept hearing more about it, and my grandpa called her. My grandpa is a retired fireman. So he called her and he said to her, no, he would be the person to go in. His squad would be the people to go in. They are the people to go.
Because it's squad 1?
Yeah. So he said, no, he's probably there. So my mom took me and my older brother out of school. Mind you, she's with my younger brother, 6-month-old. So she has all of us. She takes us out of school. And then we go to my grandparents. So then we're at my grandparents and everyone's just watching the TV, waiting to hear. And then my grandpa and my 2 uncles, my dad has 2 brothers and a sister. And so later in the day, my grandpa and my 2 uncles went to the firehouse in Brooklyn to see if they can get any information because they were calling. But
how were they able to get in?
So my uncle was a Port Authority.
Okay.
And so he would have been working that day in Manhattan. I'm not sure exactly if he worked in Manhattan, but his job would have required him to, go that day. So, but he was off, and I'm not sure if he wasn't able to get into Manhattan afterwards or whatnot. But later that day, they took his, I guess, Port Authority car and whatnot. So, So they were able to go to Brooklyn.
Okay.
And go to the firehouse to see what was going on because all the phone lines were down. They weren't able to call. My mom was calling the firehouse and everything, and they couldn't get any contact. So they went to the firehouse to try to get more information, and then later that night, I think my mom came back to our house up the block, and then my grandpa and everybody came over to the house and told her, he's gone.
So could they find him?
So my family was hoping that he was fine, right? But since my grandpa was a retired firefighter, he kind of knew that, if they went in, then, the chances and whatnot. And he knew about the job and what he knew more specifics. So I think he knew all along. But my mom, she said she was just shell shocked in a sense. And she was thinking in her head, no, he's probably, maybe he's trapped somewhere and he's fine. And maybe he got out or whatnot, and same thing with my aunt. My aunt told me the same thing, that maybe he's just in a hospital somewhere and we just need to find him. So they told my mom, and my mom kind of obviously was like I said, shell shocked. So I guess it just didn't really register to her.
Yeah, because that's not. It's like self-defense mechanism. That's so not easy to just accept.
Yeah, and also they were, watching the TV that day, all day, trying to hear more information. Who was rescued? This and that. What's going on? So that whole week, just watching the TV, and my mom said that, I think she said she tried to bring us back to preschool. I'm not sure if it was the next day or 2 days after, but she just brought us back to school, like just having us in a regular schedule, not to disrupt our schedule. But I do think I remember watching the TV when I was younger, because sometimes I think back to my memories and I'm not sure whether or not, say someone tells a story to you so many times, you can almost picture it in your head and you think you were there.
Yes.
But say you don't really remember, it was just, you're imagining it in your head. I do think I remember it, because I was talking to my mom and I said, did we watch the TV in our house in the living room at all? And she said, yeah, we did. So I do have a memory of watching the TV, but that's the only memory I have of that time. My older brother, my mom said that he kind of had an idea of what was going on, because there were so many people coming in and out of the house.
Yeah.
And, say they're coming to check up on us, bring us food, and give their condolences in a way, but we weren't really sure if he was okay or not. So just people coming in and out, and he kind of had an idea. He was asking where he was and whatnot. So then eventually my grandpa was able to go in and start searching.
Oh, for real?
So I would say maybe it was a couple weeks or say a month later, he went in, and I'm pretty sure my uncle, who was a Port Authority, he went in too, and to start searching for him.
Okay.
And so my grandpa was part of a, he would go in with a bunch of other retired firemen, whose sons were in the fire department or police department. And they call them now the Band of Fathers because they all would go in and search for their sons.
Wow.
And they would go in every day, sunrise to sundown every day looking. And it wasn't just for my father. He was helping everybody try to find any, remains or any part of their uniform or helmets and whatnot. And anytime they found somebody in the rubble, they would do a ceremony and bring them up from the hole. It was called the hole.
Whoa, hang on. Wow.
Yeah.
No, this is great. Your share is like so strong. Holy shit. But like, I'm like just trying to take it in. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so the hole was what? Just like
basically it ended up being sunken into the ground, all the rubble.
Right, all of it.
Down there. I don't know, however it happened once the buildings collapsed, but it was almost like a hole.
Yeah.
And so you'd go down there and search, and they would find maybe remains or anything of people. And so my grandpa was in every day doing that. And meanwhile, my mom is going to memorials every week.
And now where were you kids?
Preschool.
So she had you guys keep going to school.
Yeah.
So...
And my family goes to, my family is watching us, and everybody is helping to pitch in and help her to watch us and make sure we're okay. And so...
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you and your brother, your older brother, you guys are going to preschool. Mm-hmm. Family's watching the younger brother.
Yeah, or my mom mostly too, or watching my younger brother, yeah.
Yeah, while she's going to memorials and all the things, because I remember at this time I was 18.
Yeah.
So I have a very, very vivid memory on this whole thing and like the tragedy, and as a 4-year-old, for you, it's like, do you just remember so much family being around, and it was almost like, well, where's dad, kind of?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, and that makes sense.
Yeah, and my mom said that she eventually, it's hard because she wanted to tell us, but also herself, she was in denial. So to be able to say to your kids, he's not coming back, it's almost like you have to be sure that that's true too.
Yes.
Because you can't just say that flippantly, obviously. So she said for a little bit it was hard, but my older brother kept asking her.
Yeah.
So eventually I think he said something along the lines of, oh, he's not coming back. And she said, no, he's not coming back. So.
Wow.
And I think she just told me that, daddy's up in heaven now, and
oh my gosh,
you'll see him maybe again. So
and like at 4 and 6, it's like, how do you even like conceptualize that?
Exactly.
Like,
how do you conceptualize death at that time? It's just someone's here and someone's not here anymore.
Right.
So it was probably like that. But and then I also want to touch upon everybody who was in Squad 1 that was on the job that day didn't make it. So there was 12 members of Squad 1, and they were all lost. Yeah. Wow. So as well as the majority of fire departments as well.
So can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can we just talk, like, I'm just trying to like vividly imagine.
Yeah.
So your grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a couple questions about this?
Yeah.
So he goes in the rumble daily, and they're just pulling remains and bodies up.
Yeah.
And I mean, they must have had to clear paths to get these guys out of there, right? And doing ceremonies for these guys, and can I ask you, were they able to find your dad?
No.
Because there was a lot, and I even researched this last night.
Yeah.
There are still a lot of men that just are lost. Mm-hmm. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they weren't able to find him or any of his uniform or helmet or anything like that. And I think that's what obviously my grandpa was trying to find. And so and then that obviously when I was younger too, that goes into your imagination of, oh, well, they didn't find him, so maybe he's in Barbados somewhere, and he's like, or maybe he's confused, and maybe he has, memory loss and he can't find us, or, and maybe he's just somewhere and we need to find him, and so that's hard for closure because you're not sure, but so he was looking and searching, and my uncle on my mom's side, so my mom's brother, he went to Manhattan and he went and put up flyers, missing flyers of my father. Real? That's kind of like shows you too that my family was still, trying to find him, even though the probability wasn't very good, but so it's happening. My mom's going to memorials of all the people in Squad 1, as well as the firehouse my dad was in before. He was in a firehouse beforehand, and so she knew people from that firehouse as well, so she was going to their memorials.
Wow.
And then my whole family was just going to memorials back to back to back. My grandpa was searching for a long time, and then they closed the site. I'm not sure when they closed the site, but we didn't have his funeral until August, almost a year later.
The following, okay, God, wow. Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't until August we had his funeral.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of that?
I do, yeah. I remember going to a lot of things like that when I was younger. Just,
do you mean to, like, in support of, like, your father, like, for 9/11?
Well, later on, yes, but at that time, I kind of just remember going to these things and just, maybe standing, say my dad's funeral, just standing there.
Yeah.
Knowing everybody's sad. Kind of confused, but also knowing you have to be, you have to behave. And we put photos in his casket and
wow, damn,
say some of his, I don't know, some of his things too, and some of his fire department fireman things. And
now, can I ask you this part? Mm-hmm. Do you remember, or is this something your mom?
No, shared? I remember. What the inside of the casket looked like, just photos and just everything like
Kelly,
that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we put his helmet on top of it, and then it's in.
Oh my goodness. Anytime this topic comes up among me or anybody, me and friends or whoever I'm with, everybody always has a story. I remember exactly where I was. I was doing this, I was doing that, and then and it's one of these defining things where, like, everybody remembers exactly what they were doing because it was such a moment it is a moment in history. Mm-hmm. This is the stuff that's now in history books. Kids much younger than us going to be learning about this. This is a huge terrorist attack. I mean, it led into a huge war, and man, it's wild to like know you and your family go through this tragedy, because this is something that, like, is such a piece of history now. Mm-hmm. And you were right in the heart of it.
That's why it's hard, because, say my father passed away in some, like, say it was a car crash or something like that. The day that he died would be very personal, say, to me and my family, and only we would know. Maybe some other people would know the day that he died. But every time it comes up, it's such a big ordeal, and it's like so much, it sucks so much energy out of you in total, because of everything. And it's hard because it's not only that my family is mourning, but so many people are mourning as well. And it's bigger. It's not only us, it's bigger than us. And it's unfathomable how many people were, you know, affected from that day. So
Unfathomable. That's a great word for this. Yeah.
so it's hard because it's not something that we can really say more in private in a way, because it's, you turn on the TV and it's the anniversary and everything, and
Yeah.
you go to memorials and on that day, and it's just it's a lot. So, and it's hard too because anytime someone talks about it, they don't know that I was affected by it, or if they say something flippantly about it or joking about it. A lot of people joke around about it now.
For real.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've never heard a joke about it. And I think
I hear it all the time.
You know what? Wow. Hold on.
It's because of my generation too.
Yes. They weren't there. They don't know what happened. They don't know what it felt like.
But also, a lot of people have dark humor too, and so it's almost like joking around about, I don't know, a piece in history that they weren't affected by. So, say as an example, I don't know, this isn't even a good example, but say the Titanic.
Yeah.
A lot of people joke around, I don't know, say things about the Titanic that...
Oh, yeah, like, oh, what is this, the Titanic?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what is happening now. And a lot of people, say my age, say, oh, I drop my groceries on the ground. They'll say, this is my 9/11.
Stop. I have
Yeah.
never heard that.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. I hear it all the time.
Stop it.
Or they'll say, if you're dating a girl, they say, oh, ask her if she remembers 9/11, and if she doesn't, then she's too young.
Stop.
That's like a point of reference of whether or not a girl is too young to date her, is if she was born during 9/11.
Kelly, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's just being in college too, and hearing all these things, like I've had classmates before joke around about it, and they'll say, joke around, Bush did 9/11, just something that is a phrase that people say all the time just to be like, whatever, stupid, whatever, funny. And I heard it in college on 9/11. I had to say to my friend, like, hey, can you stop? Like, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Can you stop saying that so much all class? Because it's like, I really don't want to hear that.
Wow. I'm kind of just like stunned at the moment because I did not know that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We're different generations. I'm 14 years older than you,
Mm-hmm.
in my 40s. And so people my age and even a little younger than me, we remember this very clearly. Very clearly. I mean, it was like my first week of classes in college. And this happened, this is how I remember this is like sort of how my class started off our freshman year in a sense.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Because you just said something and it made me think. Every year, you and your family and all the families involved in this that lost someone, you guys all have to relive this.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Every single year. Yeah.
And can I ask you something? How are you? Do you know how has it shaped you? Has it shaped your growth as like a woman, as a person? So your mom was already an adult, and so for her, it's like she was kind of already her person, and then this happened, and so every year it's this terrible memory for her, right? But this is part of your development and growth as a human because you were so young.
Yeah, that's all I know, basically.
This is all you know. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you? Okay, I think that answers it. It's all you know, so it's just sort of something that you've grown with.
Yeah, it's all I know. When September comes around, I feel I can sense my mom. There's heaviness, and I could just tell. There is just, you could feel it. It gets closer to 9/11. You can feel it. The day is going to be here again, and my whole family around that time, it's always one of those things that, just the mood changes, obviously. And we went to school I would go to school every year, and going to school in Long Island, there was always a moment of silence. There would be some years where we'd go out to the football field and do a flag ceremony as well, and they would say the names of the people who were lost in that town, and that was hard because everyone would stare at me because
Oh my goodness.
they all know, because I was the only person in my when I was going to school, I was the only person in the school.
You mean high school?
Middle school, I remember people staring at me. Me and my brother were the only people, and my cousins would be there too. But we were the only family in that school at the time that was affected in the way that we were. So people would stare at you. I remember there was one time where I went to the bathroom, and then a teacher announced to the class, be nice to her today. One of my friends told me that she did that, and I was like, okay. People weren't being mean to me, but she wanted to make sure people in middle school were being extra nice to me that day, which is like, makes it worse probably, because then they stare at you all day, but...
And it makes it awkward. It's very awkward, uncomfortable age, yeah.
Yeah, and then... as a kid, like, you have your friends, and, my friends were very nice. They would say, I'm sorry, and whatnot. But there would be some families that I know that would go into the city every year to go to the reading of the names. And we would watch it in the morning a little bit before school, and my mom would watch it on the TV. And we would just watch it until they said my father's name, and then we would turn it off because it's just so... It's rough to watch the whole reading of the names.
Every year.
Yeah, I've had friends that actually read as well. And then I think we went into the city maybe once or twice, but it's so exhausting. It takes so much out of you. My mom didn't really like going.
Yeah.
So we would go to my grandma's and have dinner at my grandma's house and with my family. And that's another thing. When you asked how it shaped me, well, I wouldn't say it not just me personally, but how me and my brothers relate to each other, how close I am with my mom and my grandma, and my grandpa when he was alive, and my aunts, and my uncles, and everything. It made us so close, and I have such a close relationship with them, and I'm so thankful that we're still in touch with them, because there are a lot of families that I know of where their dad died, and they don't have contact with their dad's side of the family. So I went to a camp, sleepaway camp, called America's Camp, and it was for kids who were affected by 9/11.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
Yes.
So you were around a community of other kids who experienced what you experienced.
Yes. So
okay.
I want to say the year after I started going, when I was 5, I would go to a sleepaway camp, and I would be in a bunk with girls who all their dads died in 9/11. So
wow.
I know
okay.
a lot of girls that I am friends with that. But it was a regular camp. We didn't do any sort of... It almost, say you went to that camp and you didn't know it was a camp for kids who were affected by 9/11, you wouldn't know, because we would go swimming in the lake, we would go do archery, we would make bracelets and everything. It was almost like any other camp, but everybody had something in common, even the counselors. So the counselors too, either their mom or dad died in 9/11 and whatnot. And so we did have a ceremony at the end, but and we would raise the flag every morning at that camp. But yeah, that was really great. I started going when I was 5. And my brothers too would go, and we looked forward to it every year, and it was honestly the best thing.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it probably really normalized things for you guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And can I ask you, so to that respect, did your mom have a community of people?
Yeah, she did.
Maybe other wives?
So it was I forget the name for it. Was just all the widows that were
okay.
that were affected. So she was really close with a lot of the widows, and they would go on, like a therapy retreat together. And even afterwards, we kept in contact with, she kept in contact with a lot of them, and we would go on vacation together.
Wow.
And you just have a family, vacation, just that my mom, the other widow, and the kids all just together. And
So you guys had each other. So you had a community.
we did. And a lot of the girls that went to America's camp were from the East Coast, obviously. So there would be time to time, like during the year, I can maybe see them like at like a FDNY baseball game. I would see them, or some other fundraiser or some other thing. I could see them, and I was always super excited. Same thing with my brother. My brother had friends in the camp too. So it was just a really great great thing that was done for us.
Yeah. It's like you had that one hardship that you shared, and it bonded you in a sense. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and I also think that that's also why me and my brothers are so close too.
I'm so sorry that like your family experienced that, and your mom, and this is how you like grew up.
I want to talk about my mom too, and how much I look up to her, and just like she's so amazing. I don't know how she did it, and I don't know if I could have done it,
Yeah.
and just how strong she is. And I just
three very young kids.
Yeah.
In this massive tragedy, and it was a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like your mom, like that is an insane concept to process. Like that your mom lost her husband in a terrorist attack. Do you get what I'm saying? And so she has to grapple with that and deal with that, but also be there and strong enough to raise 3 small children. Your mom's a hero within herself.
Yeah,
your dad's a hero. Your grandfather's a hero. I mean, everybody involved in the story is such a hero. But like, I really bow my cap to her too.
100%. There's so many different ways it could have gone if my mom wasn't as strong as she was and is still today. I just think the world of her, obviously.
Yeah.
And, my whole family too. They were so great, and yeah.
Wow. Kel, wow.
Yeah. I love my family so much, and yeah. And unfortunately, my grandpa, since he was searching for so many months, he ended up developing pulmonary fibrosis.
Your grandfather?
Yeah, because of how long he was down there for.
Wow.
And the air quality and everything like that, the dust and the rubble, and so he developed a pulmonary fibrosis and passed away when I was 16. And they definitely think it contributed to him developing that. So
wow.
It's my whole family. It's just years later, it wasn't just that year. It's just years later. Everybody's
still having impact.
It's still having impact, and we get to try to get together, obviously every year, to have dinner together, and try to be happy, and just be there for each other, because that's all you have,
right.
Family.
Right.
So.
Oh my gosh, Kelly, jeez. That is so wild. That is such a share. That's a powerful story, my friend. That really is. Being next to you and knowing you, I do feel like I'm in the presence of a hero, and I really, really am grateful for you sharing this.
Yeah, of course. All you can do is remember, and all I could do is just keep talking about my dad to, my family, and talking about the good times and how great he was, and how funny he was, and how great of a dad he was. And that's all you can really talk about, just the the fun, happy times. And yeah, that's what you like to remember, obviously, and not what he went through on that horrible day. You know, if you think too much about it, you can't think too much depth of what he went through, because it's just too hard. So, but yeah, he was amazing, and yeah, I'm honored to have him as my father. So
wow. And I'm honored to know you. Thank you so much for the
of course.
share.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Jeez. Oof.